Here we go. Excellent. We are recording. Okay, so let's get rocking and rolling. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. You guys have no idea. Actually, you do have an idea how important it is to commit time into your business, because after all, this is your future. I mean, if you're taking part in these trainings, it's because you see the potential of a business like this. You see that there is potential in drastically changing your life. If you've heard my story, Ellen's story, Michelle, of course, Cam, we all have amazing, fantastic, phenomenal stories, and there's no reason why that can't be you. So let's first dive into, got a couple announcements, then I'm going to get into some mindset stuff, and then we're going to do just some general action type activities, I guess you could say. But first and foremost, I want to remind you, if you're not quite, maybe you're new, maybe you haven't been 100% like engaged. I know that toward the end of the year, people can get sucked into the holidays. I hope that that's not you. I hope that you are really capitalizing on the advantage of New Year's resolutions and the fact that people very, 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 very much are reflecting on how much money is in their bank account right now. And if there's another opportunity, case in point, I have a lot of people showing interest for a coaching sneak peek that I have coming up, as well as my New Year's health kick. And I was shocked how many people were replying to me yesterday on Christmas Day. People were sending me messages. It's because this whole idea of self-reflection, right? Isn't that what we do at the end of the year? We take a moment to step back and go, okay, how has this year changed and how has it been different? I'm not sure if you have ever had an opportunity to take a moment and take a step back and go, like, how did this become my life? I don't know if you've ever had a moment like that. I've had several of those moments in my lifetime where I just kind of stepped back and I almost looked at myself and the situation that I was in, and I was like, wow, how is this my life right now? And those were sobering moments for me. And I had to make some drastic changes in my life, drastic changes. And I don't have time to get into all those stories with you right now, but those will be for another time. Right now, what I want to help you do is plan a little bit ahead. Okay. So yes, I know that we just celebrated Christmas. Yes, I know that New Year's is around the corner. Yes, I know that you are all probably frantically getting people in your Transform 20 groups and developing your New Year's resolution groups, etc. I know that there's a lot going on, but I need to get your attention on two important dates. Number one, myself, you probably got this on a couple calls ago. Okay, myself, Jen Delvaux, Mindy Lawhorn, Jackie Woodfin, and Monica Gray, we teamed up and we created this once a month. We were calling it a call, then we're calling it a training, but we actually landed on a really good name. It's called our Millionaire Mastermind. And the whole reason is because we want to bring together, all of our businesses are completely, super duper, completely different. But we've all been in since the beginning, and we want to bring our teams together for this Millionaire Mastermind to teach you guys not only how we did it, but why we're still here and why we're still doing it. So once a month we do that training. It's coming up on January 7th. So mark your calendar for that. It's at 5 p.m. Pacific time, which is 8 p.m. Eastern time, okay? That is on January 7th. It's a Monday. That's date number one to put into your calendar. The other one is Super Weekend. Thank goodness they finally changed the name of this from Super Saturday to Super Weekend, because honestly it could be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, anytime during that weekend. It's coming up January 12th to 13th, around that weekend time. So in order to find an event near you, please go to coach.teambeachbody.com, sign in there, and then click on events. You want to click on events, and you can find an event near you. If you don't have one near you and you are an Emerald or higher, then host an event. Okay, you'll get all the materials. It's super easy to do, but make sure that you're there, especially since January officially kicks off our 2020 Success Club trip qualification. So if you've been working like crazy in order to make the 2019 trip. You were probably getting really excited. I just finished my online check-in today for the cruise that's coming up in March. I'm so excited about that trip. And you know, I figure I've done the math in the past. It's like if you were to hit Success Club 10 every single month, you would get an all-inclusive 1 week or 5-day trip 100% paid for if you hit Success Club 10 every month. Now, you don't have to hit Success Club every month. That's the thing. But you do need to qualify January, starting in January. So all this coming year in order to make it, in order to be eligible to be on the 2020 trip. And qualifications may change, but they usually have a special for getting your January points in. So I'm just going to recommend highly start getting your ducks in a row, because you definitely want to start qualifying for that trip so you can be on that trip in 2020 with us. It's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be amazing. They always are amazing. All of that being said, it is the new year. So it is time for a fresh start. Okay. This is not the time to kick yourself in the butt if you're not where you want to be. This is not the time for you to be down on yourself. Yes, you can be self-reflective, but I want you to get really smart about making some changes moving forward to the new year. I want you to get really smart. And what I mean by that is this. You know, you have access to so much training, it's probably oozing out your ears, right? And that was one thing, that's one thing that I like to bring something different to the table, because I don't believe that you don't know what to do. I don't believe that that you don't have leadership. I don't believe that you don't have the roadmap. We have so many tools. We have so much training. We have so much available at your fingertips. I mean, anything nowadays, it's like, well, how do I do that? I don't know. I'm going to go look it up on YouTube. How do I change my oil in my Chevy? Whatever. You can look up anything online nowadays. Okay. So everything is at your fingertips. It's not for lack of knowledge. It's not for lack of training. It's not for lack of accessibility. The things that stop us are here. It's always between our ears. It's our brain. It's our mindset. Yes, granted, I believe that things in life can be hard. I believe that life is going to throw you curveballs. I believe that not everything that happens to you is roses. I believe that things can be very challenging. I have experienced many of those things myself. But here's the deal. You have to make a decision in order to, like I said before, in order to be able to step back and look at your life and say, is this going in the direction that I want it to go? A, and B, what can I do to change this? Because so many times I'll have conversations with people and everything is pointing the finger. Well, yeah, if this person didn't do that, or if my husband was supportive, or if this person would or maybe if my best friend just wanted to do this with me, or if my boyfriend didn't bring home all the sugary stuff. It's always pointing the finger, right, at somebody else. It's always pointing the finger at somebody else. And I get it, you guys. If you guys don't know my story, I was in an abusive marriage. I had to literally escape from. And I remember sitting back and looking at myself and going, how am I ever going to get out of this situation? Because I knew it wasn't healthy. I knew it wasn't right. At some point, something in my brain switched and I was like, this is not the way that God intends my life to be. And so I had to start making changes. And so as you're sitting back and you're looking at the last year, or maybe your entire Beachbody career, and maybe you're not where you want to be, because you know what, not a lot of people are. Here's the statistics. The statistic is 8 out of 10 businesses will fail within the first couple of years. So statistically speaking, that goes right hand in hand with Beachbody businesses as well. Well, thank God you didn't have to take out a $500,000 loan in order to see if you could do this business thing, right? So you don't have to be in the majority. You can choose to be in the minority. In fact, there's always room at the top. I don't remember what business training I did, but I talked about how so many people are always fighting for these minimum wage jobs or these like middle of the road jobs. And honestly, if you just shot higher, it's so much easier to get a better position because there's always room at the top. Everybody's fighting for these mediocre positions because they just accepted that they are supposed to be mediocre. And that was a really big eye-opening experience for me to learn that. So here's some things I want to dispel a couple myths. Number one, it's like, well, if I'm just motivated, that's what's going to do it for me. Motivation fades. If I'm just determined enough, if I just have enough, just sheer will, if I'm just determined enough, no, because even determination can be overridden by your fears. What about willpower? What about if you just really, really have a strong willpower? Because so much of what we do and preach is like, just do the work, even if it's hard, just push, right? Grind it out, just keep going. And you know what? There is part of that is true. But in the same token, I fully recognize that willpower is a muscle. And yes, it does get stronger, but it does get exhausted. And it will exhaust if that's all you're relying on. If you're relying on grit and determination and motivation and willpower, you are going to hit a wall whenever you feel fear, whenever you feel like you're not worthy, whenever you feel like you don't know what you're doing. You're going to hit these walls. And it's because it all comes back to our thoughts, our philosophies, how we look at life, how we look at ourselves, and how we allow our lives to be driven by our thoughts, good or bad. So I don't know if you've read the book As a Man Thinketh, but that book is, I mean, it's a classic. It's a classic. It's a really short book, actually. It's a really easy read. But and there are so many other books written just like it, because how you think will determine the trajectory of your life. So I thought that I had to work hard in order to deserve a good life. I thought that it was always going to be hard. I thought that I was going to work from sun up to sundown, that I was going to have like no time for my family, that I was always going to feel scrambling. But I hated that. I hated it. I thought that it was just normal to be in debt, and those philosophies, they began to change when I became a Beachbody coach. They began to change because somebody told me that your philosophies will determine your life, and your thoughts and how you look at yourself and how you look at other people and how you look at the world around you, that is going to greatly determine where you end up 5 years from now. The people that you surround yourself with will show you in advance who you're going to become. And I learned a lot of this by, of course, working at Powder Blue Productions. When we were hiring, we used to call them presenters, APDs. When we were hiring them, Chalene would bring in public speakers, and we do a lot of personal development type stuff. I remember my very first personal development event that I ever went to. Tony Robbins was there, and I'd like kind of heard of him. And you know who else was there? Was Susie Orman. Susie Orman was there too, the financial lady. And I was like, I don't know, maybe 25 years old or something. So a lot of it went right over my head, but so a lot of it did sink in. I was like, okay, there's something to all of this. And mind you, I was not in a good place, mentally, but I was starting, like things were starting to seep into my brain, and I was starting to realize that I could create my destiny. So I want to ask you a question, like what drives you? What drives you now? What are the things that truly, truly make you feel alive and motivated? And you could do a mental note if you want, or you could start writing some stuff down. What drives you? Our decisions will always follow our beliefs. So if we believe a certain way about someone in our life, the way we decide to treat that person will always follow our beliefs. Okay? So I just want to, I want to check the time real quick. We're good. I want you to just do your best to wrap your brain around that. Because what limiting beliefs do you have about yourself with rank advancement, with financial goals, with how big your challenge groups can be, with how many Success Club points you can earn? Now, I am a work in progress too. I am just like you. I've got like sky's the limit over here, and then like tiny beliefs about myself in some other areas, but I'm always working on myself. Always working on myself. Now, how do we start to change all of this, right? Because it seems like this giant concept. How do we start to change it? We change it by being aware of our thoughts. And it's almost like you're pulling yourself out of the situation and looking at it and going, okay, well, that's an interesting thought. Or, would I say that to my child? Would I say that to my husband? Would I say that to somebody that I love? Now, why would I say that to myself? But being able to pull yourself out of it, out of the situation just long enough in order to evaluate and say, okay, that is a self-limiting belief. And your beliefs can be changed. And like I said before, everything is controlled by what's in between your ears. I am not perfect. By nature, I tend to be an extremely negative person. I have to work hard every single day to keep my positive outlook. I have to work hard. I had to work really hard to learn to love the way I look, to learn to love my body, to learn to love who God made me to be. I had to work hard at that. And like I said, it's not about tenacity. It's literally about being aware of your own personal beliefs and being aware, conscious of your thoughts, and that you have the ability to change those. So I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I want to talk to you a little bit about energy, okay? Because we all have a responsibility to create our own energy, our own positive energy. And what I mean here is we have a level of energy mentally, physically, spiritually, in our relationships. You could even go farther than that and say emotional, like you have emotional energy. You have the ability to create energy in these areas, but it is our responsibility. It's our responsibility to take care of that energy. Because by taking care of yourself spiritually, mentally, emotionally, relationally, physically, by taking care of yourself in those areas, you are able to take care of other people, right? Because if you are exhausted, geez, man, at the beginning of this year, I suffered so badly from insomnia. I don't know what brought it on. I'm not quite sure. Tried everything under the sun. I don't even know. So there are a lot of things. Like I seriously did everything. Oils. I did lotions. I did eye mask. I did nutrition stuff, supplements. Darkened the room. Eliminated all lights. Nothing like no like TV, anything before bed, like stretching before bed, meditation, prayer, writing a list, brainstorming, journaling. Like, oh my gosh, it was 3 months. I'm not even kidding you. 3 months where I slept. I was in bed for like 8, 9, sometimes 10 hours, but I only slept about 3 hours a night. It was horrible. It was a horrible experience. And I don't know why, but somehow the combination of all the stuff, right? I ended up finding some things that worked. And, but it was a hard time, not just for me, because I felt like a zombie. I felt like I couldn't work. I felt like I was letting everybody down. I physically didn't like really want to exercise. I didn't want to do anything. It was so hard. And, like not just for myself, it was super, super hard for my kids too, because my temper was like this short. It was super, super hard on my husband too, because I was like, oh my God, I have to see if I can nap. Like I was existing, and it was so incredibly difficult. But I knew it was up to me to manage my energy. I was responsible for having a bad temper, even though I was getting like no sleep at all. So ultimately our energy comes down to our habits. Okay, so this is a lot of it goes back to your thinking. You have to be aware of what makes you feel energized and excited and alive. And then also on the flip side, you need to be aware of the things that feel draining to you. And it is your responsibility in order to take care of that. In my opinion, it is not okay for you to binge watch Netflix if you know that it's going to make you cranky to your family tomorrow. That's not okay. Like, that's why I spent like sometimes 9-10 hours in bed, like over a large span of time, just trying to get sleep, because I was trying my hardest to be a better mom, be a better wife, be a business owner, etc. I was trying my hardest. I was like, I have to get sleep. I need to figure this out because my brain isn't working. That's my opinion. It's not okay to not be nice to the people in your life because you haven't chosen to create the habits that give you good energy in order to be a good person to the people in your life. That's my opinion. Take it or leave it. But with that being said, like, I think do some self-reflection. Like, what are some things in your life? Thank you, Sherry. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. You guys, I'm gonna pop back and look at the comments too, because I get so off track, and we're already coming close to a close, so I don't want to get too off track. But what are the things that drain you? And here's a big one. Here's a big clue. Distractions. Distractions drain your energy. Time and time and time and time again. If you are getting distracted a lot, you're being drained of your energy. You're being depleted. I promise you that. So I'm talking like dings, notifications. I have none. The only notifications I get is if somebody calls me or texts me. And so I go in physically into each of my social media channels, into my emails, etc. Those are the only notifications I get is somebody calls me or texts me. That's it. So I go in once, twice a week and I check my messages, I clear them out. And that's kind of like the thing that I do, because if I were just responding all the time, I mean, this is when I had to learn this. When I was vice president of Powder Blue Productions, I had to learn that just all day long, I could seriously sit in my office and do nothing except for people just coming in and talking to me all day long, or calling me or sending me emails, whatever. And I had to create boundaries and say, when the door is shut, you need to come back. If you can go in an email, great. If you can wait for our weekly meeting, even better. But I had to set those boundaries because I was getting nothing done. And to me, one of the things that drains me more than anything is to feel like I am not accomplishing anything. Distractions. My kids, I can't function when they're around. So I don't know how, like, some moms can like tune them out and they're like, yeah, honey, I can't do that. Like, I can't create a good thought. I don't do team trainings late at night. I don't do presentations or anything like that late at night, because after I get my kids in bed, I just feel completely drained, right? So you need to learn, what are the things that makes you feel drained? What are the things that make you feel alive and energized? Who are the people that make you feel energized? Who are the people that you need to surround yourself with more? And you guys, get to the events. There is nothing more like energizing than getting to Summit, Super Saturday, all those events. The positive energy does something to you. It's like a real thing. It's like a real thing, okay? Like, you can physically feel the energy of other people in your room. If you've ever done a group fitness class, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because when the class is rocking, everybody's hooting and hollering, it like really pumps you up and motivates you. So we're in charge, right? The other thing that I think is our responsibility, specifically relating to this business, is knowing the activities that drain you and just being aware of it and going, okay, but this is a necessary evil of my business, right? Whatever that may be for you. Because every job on the planet has parts of it that you don't like. Oh my God, I love this so much. I love taking out the trash. Like, this is the most fun part of my whole day. Like, no, you're never going to have that. So I know a lot of people make it sound like all roses and everything, like being a quote unquote full-time, Beachbody coach and whatnot. But I'll be honest with you and say that it's not everything's going to be roses. There's going to be a lot, maybe like a third of what you do that you don't love. It's okay. Find ways to enjoy it. You know what? It took me years to figure this out. Let me see if I can move this over here without burning my hand. See this candle? Let me see if I can show it to you. Okay? It smells so delicious. And you know what? I was having a really hard time like getting back into the flow of, like working from home, etc. And I was having a hard time enjoying it because I missed the office environment. And I was like, man, what are some of the things that I did at the office that really helped to make me feel energized and helped to like create an environment where I actually wanted to work in? And I was like, because I had delicious, yummy candles all the time burning. I was like, I need to have delicious, yummy candles. Okay, good. So got some, you know what I mean? It's just like those little things. Another thing is, back when my only work time was nap time, that's honestly the 2:00 slump was not when I want to be working, but I was like, I'm going to reward myself. I'm going to make this fun for myself. And that's when I'm going to make my latte or my fancy coffee or do something that like I super like love and enjoy because it's going to help to energize me to get me through. Right. So we're responsible for that. But the other thing is, what do you love about this business? And there's been times in this business where I have felt stale, and it has been the moments when I am not teaching. When I'm not doing things like this, the team calls. People probably wonder why I still do stuff like this. It's because this energizes me. I freaking love to teach. I love it. I love to talk. I love to speak. I love to help people figure crap out. Yes, I said crap because I actually edited myself last minute there. I want to help you guys figure things out. Like, that energizes me. That's the part that I dig about this business the most, is teaching. All right. Now I just want to give you a few stats, and then I'm going to go into the chat, and we'll open it up. See if you guys have any questions, comments, etc. I'd love to hear from you. I see we've got 12 people on. Yes, I'm excited. But here's some stats that I got, or this is something that I got at Leadership. Only under 400,000 coaches in all of Beachbody, in the United States, the UK, and Canada. What does that mean for us? That means massive opportunity. So many people think that the market is saturated, that everybody knows a coach, everybody has a coach, blah, blah, blah. If you're on Facebook long enough and you're looking at other coaches' stuff, you probably think that everybody's a coach. No, it's because you're looking at other coaches' stuff. And it's so funny because so many times I'll sign up a new distributor and they like go down a rabbit hole of some other type of company. They're like, oh my God, how are we ever going to compete with this other shake company that I've never even heard of? And because they're everywhere, I'm like, well, it's because you clicked on their stuff. Like, once Facebook sees that you click on something, it's going to keep showing you more of that thing. So just know that, but know that we have a huge advantage because there are way more people with health conditions, obesity issues, etc., than 360,000 people. That's it, in 3 countries. So you guys, we have so much untapped potential. The other thing is, I want to let you know that also I got this out at Marketing Impact Academy last year. In online sales, in the year 2008, only 8% of online sales were done online. I'm sorry, only 8% of total sales. That didn't make sense. Only 8% of total sales were conducted online in 2008. By the year 2020, they're expecting that to double to only 16%. So what does that mean for us? That means we have a huge growth potential, like tremendous growth potential. The other statistic I got from Marketing Impact Academy is that over 50% of people want to make a purchase from a business where they can physically talk to someone. And largely over Facebook Messenger. In fact, Messenger is now used more than texting. Did you know that? It's crazy. So if you are representing yourself as a professional online and you are creating relationships with people and communicating with them through Facebook Messenger. Do you know there's over 1.3 billion people on Facebook Messenger? And this was like, that's an old stat from like last March or something. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of untapped market. That's a lot of potential. We have so much potential. And the year 2019, I want it to be your best, most amazing year yet. I am so pumped and I'm so excited about this coming year. I just know with the collaboration that we have with Cam and Michelle and Ellen and myself, and then of course this new collaboration with my millionaire mastermind group, and we're going to be bringing stuff to you once a month. I am confident that if you tap in and if you are willing to work on the thing that is between your ears, you are going to go farther than you ever dreamed possible. Okay, guys, I'm going to open it up. Let me get into gallery view here. Thank you guys so much for coming on. I'm so excited. And let me check the chat really quick. Oh, Dana says, people that genuinely want to help. Yeah, drive me. Oh, absolutely. Sometimes you just have to listen to your gut. More than your thoughts, and thoughts can get you into that stinking pit. That's so true. And then Sherry says, I get the feeling, yes, definitely. Definitely. Thank you so much for commenting on those things, you guys. Anybody have any questions or comments that they'd like to share today? Oh, good, Ellen, you made it back on. Good. Hi. All right. Thank you guys so much for being on. Hey, Yulia. Good to see you, honey. I see lots of familiar names here. So we're just 2 minutes past the hour. Not too bad. I want to say thank you guys so much. We're going to have an incredible year this year. And stay tuned. I'll see you guys next week. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.